Right, it's time for my UFC predictions. Firstly, interesting to note here, a lot of the guys on this card all seem to have the same sponsor. What I mean by that is they have the same sort of, they seem to be under the same or association as far as Sherdog is concerned. This is Rufus Sport, so a lot of these guys, particularly the Sucker Punch guys, I'm wondering if there's sort of some links there. But anyway, I'm going to start at the bottom of the card, work all the way up till I come to the end, then I'm going to stop. Stefan Struve versus Chase Gormley. Gormley is 6-0. Stefan Struve is 17-3 and he's got 13 wins by submission. I know Stefan Struve from his time in Cage Gladiators. He should have no problem giving Chase his first loss, except for look out for strange submissions, because when Gormley goes for submissions, they're rather weird in the past anyway. So this is the first fight for Gormley this year, and I do predict a loss there. I'm going to go for submission in the first there. Razak Al-Hassan, 6-1, fighting for the first time this year. May have been the guy who hurt his arm last time in UFC Fight for the Troops. Could be wrong, but it could be the same person. He is fighting Kyle Kingsbury, one of the toughers. He's got a record of 7-2, and that 2 is part of a 2-loss streak that he's facing now. This is the first time he has fought this year either. I'm going to go for Kyle Kingsbury here because I would like him not to suffer 3 losses in a row. I'm going to go for him by decision. George Rivera and Rob Kimmons. George is 16-7, wins and loses by TKO and submission, and he loses usually to calibers, but Rob Kimmons is not a caliber. He does, however, have the better record, 22-4, losing by submission. But he has got 14 submission wins and 5 TKO wins. His record doesn't have any calibers in. I'm going to go for George Rivera here, but I'm going to go for decision again with that. I know George, met him at UFC 85. Yushin Okami, 23-4. He's on a 3-fight win streak, but this is his first fight this year. He is fighting Chael Sonnen, who I didn't know is actually Team Quest. With a record of 23-10, he's got 7 TKO and 3 submission and 13 decision victories, but 7 submission defeats. This is not going to be a very easy one to call, this one. Chael Sonnen has not been doing too badly recently, but he's a bit sort of an oddball. Yushin I don't know much about. I shall go for Chael Sonnen by decision, but I could be wrong there. Anthony Hardonk with a record of 8-5, 6 TKO and 2 submission wins. His losses are usually by defeat, and he's coming off a loss now. He is facing my good friend Patrick Barry, who is 4-1. His losses are by submission and his wins are by TKO. He is a Sucker Punch fighter. I am supporting him, even though he doesn't have quite as good a record. He has very good leg kicks, and I'm hoping that he wears Anthony Hardonk down and then gets rid of him. So I shall go for Anthony having a defeat by TKO in the second. Here's another interesting matchup. Ryan Bader, with wins by TKO and submission. He has a perfect record of 9, according to this. He's fighting Eric Schaffer, who is 11-3. His wins, he's got 7 submissions. Loses usually by TKO, but he's on a 4-fight win streak. He is a Sucker Punch fighter. I am supporting him. Usually he wins in the first round. Now, Ryan Bader's no pushover, and he does win by submission. But I'm going to go and say that I think Eric Schaffer will win by submission in the third. I shall go for a bar there. Yoshiyuki Yoshida, don't really know or care much about him. Anthony Johnson, I'm not really sure I like him either, but I'm going to go for him by TKO in the second. A very interesting match up here. Joe Stevenson versus Spencer Fisher. Both big calibers in the lightweight division. Spencer Fisher obviously MFS affiliated. Joe Stevenson also very, very good, but he's not had the best of times recently. I don't know what's going to happen here, to be perfectly honest. This is the one that I don't want to really make a decision on. If I had to choose, I would say that... Well, I can't really. I mean, I just don't really know who would win this one. Stevenson, if he's on top form, stands a chance. Fisher, I just don't know. So I'll move on. Gleison Tibau, 19-6, wins with 9 submissions and 8 decisions, but he also loses by TKO in decision. He's coming off a loss and facing Josh Neer, who is also coming off a loss with a record of 25-8, 10 TKO, 11 submission victories, but he also loses by submission and decision. They both lose by decision. The thing is, again, this is another one that I don't really want to call. I think Josh Neer should win, but I think based recently on what's been going on with him in previous fights, I don't know. I think that Josh has 10 TKO victories, and Gleison often loses by TKO. I'm going to go for TKO in the third. They sort of match each other on submissions, really, and they both lose by decision. So if it goes to there, you know, that's going to be a little bit difficult to call. They are both coming off a loss, though, so hopefully they're both up for it there. Cain Velasquez and Ben Rothwell. Now, Ben Rothwell is going in to his UFC debut, somehow into the mega echelons of a numbered card. He does have a record to support it, 30-6, and I do believe he is an MFSer, but I think he's the one that I don't like. I think there has been some issue with him and Matt Hughes before in the past. He is fighting Cain Velasquez, who is a recent up-and-comer in the division, who's worked very hard and has a perfect record of 6. Ben's record is 30 and then 6. So he's outmatched there. However, things are not quite as bad as they seem. You know, Ben Rothwell has 17 TKO and 11 submission victories, but he also loses by TKO in decision. Cain Velasquez, he's got a perfect record of 6. And his only calibre really is Jake Congo, who he took to decision. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think that Cain knows if he wants to get anywhere, he has to win. I'm going to go, despite everything, for Cain Velasquez, I think he realises what is at stake here. I'm going to go for him by TKO in the later rounds, probably round 3. The main event, Lyoto Machida is facing Mauricio Rua. Do you know, I like Mauricio and he might make it to the second round, but really I think Lyoto has got this in the bag, at least until he is facing somebody like Anderson Silva, if that ever happens, if Dana White forces that issue, or something like that. I don't think it'll be somebody like Rua who takes away anything from Lyoto, so here's my prediction.